3G networks will soon be shut down by carriers here in the United States. It's older technology. There are better technologies out there which allow for more people to connect to the service, faster download speeds, that kind of thing, clearer phone calls, more intelligible audio on phone calls. So this could affect you if you don't have a new enough smartphone or one that was not made for the U.S. networks. So let's talk about that, and we're going to read this article and find out if this is going to affect you. Why your AT&T smartphone may suddenly stop working soon. Seen an enticingly cheap Samsung model on Amazon? It might not work after the carrier shuts down. We're going to get into that in a minute too. How to tell if you're buying a phone, how to tell if you're buying a phone that's going to be DOA when you get it here. Is it going to work, or are you going to stick a SIM card in it and it say your SIM card has been suspended, as happened to me once. AT&T is shutting down its 3G network on February 22nd, something that should only affect people with very old devices, mostly flip phones. But a subset of unlocked smartphone owners are getting caught up in the mess, and some of them don't even know it. The folks getting a nasty surprise are people who bought smartphones not designed for U.S. networks. Some of them aren't sold here, like Huawei and Xiaomi models. Those were always living on borrowed time. The really tricky ones, though, are Samsung models that look exactly like phones sold and supported in the U.S. but aren't. I have many times in the past, and I have owned a Xiaomi and a Huawei phone, gone to buying phones online instead of paying money, exorbitant rates for a carrier phone, $600, $700, $800 back in the day. Nowadays it's $1,000, or having to sign a 2-year agreement. I have bought phones online that weren't maybe made for this market, but worked just fine. You had to know what to look for, and you had to pay attention about the cellular bands, the radio bands that they were using. You had to pay attention to that kind of thing. But even Samsung, not just over phones not made for the United States market, but as it mentions here, there are Samsung models. They may release a Galaxy S10, for example, and it looks like a Galaxy S10, but there are actually like 5 different models released in different parts of the world that have different radios in them, different compatibilities. So we're going to talk about that here in a second, about how to know what you're getting when you order it. The shutoff will also affect people on other carrier brands that rely on the AT&T network, such as Cricket, H2O Mobile, and some Red Pocket plans. All iPhones of the iPhone 6 generation or later will work fine after the 3G shutoff. To check your model of an Android phone, see if it's on AT&T's approved list, go to Settings-About Phone. AT&T has a frequently updated list of 4G supported phones here. I'm going to link this story, obviously, and you can find the link to this updated list here. Excuse me. You're blacklisted now. Some backstory. All 3 major carriers are decommissioning their 15 to 25-year-old 2G and 3G networks to make room for 4G and 5G, which use limited airwaves far more efficiently. Most phones sold in the U.S. since 2014 support VoLTE or voice over 4G, voice over LTE for phone calls. But the 2G and 3G system AT&T and T-Mobile use has a requirement that all technically compatible phones be allowed to make voice calls, and 4G does not. So the carriers can now whitelist phone models depending on whether or not they want to support them. AT&T has gone down the whitelisting path, while T-Mobile has taken a more open approach. Verizon has always whitelisted because it used a different 3G system that allowed whitelisting. And if you look this FCC.gov website, it tells you when the 3 major carriers are switching over. AT&T announced that it will finish shutting down its 3G network in February of 2022, February 22nd, which is 20 days from recording of this video. Verizon announced that it will finish shutting down its 3G network by December 31st, so we have almost a year for Verizon. T-Mobile announced that it will finish shutting down Sprint's 3G CDMA network March 31st of 2022 and Sprint's 4G LTE network by June 30th, 2022. It also announced it will shut down T-Mobile's 3G UMTS networks by July 1st, 2022, but has not yet announced a shutdown date for its 2G network. I'm surprised here it says it's shutting down Sprint's 4G LTE network. I guess they are completely transitioning over to their T-Mobile network. T-Mobile and AT&T recently merged, or I guess T-Mobile bought Sprint. Excuse me, I misspoke. T-Mobile and Sprint. T-Mobile purchased Sprint. So there are your dates there. So this is where it gets into the issues with making sure you have the right phone. In particular, Samsung, it can be a little complicated because of the different models released in different parts of the world. Samsung makes several different variants of each of its phones for different countries. Carriers in the U.S. sell the, and it has it in quotes here, the U model. Samsung.com and Best Buy sell the unlocked U1 model. Both have been approved for 4G calling used by all the U.S. carriers. But several Amazon sellers, as well as B&H Photos, sell the international model to U.S. buyers. Models ending with B, F, or M, for instance, those models haven't been verified by the U.S. carriers and may not be supported. I know this sounds complicated, but it's not really that complicated. So let me show you on Amazon.com. I'm actually recording this on a Galaxy A50. This is a Galaxy A50. The camera I'm using is a Galaxy A50. So here are some different models in Amazon. Oh, Galaxy A50, Galaxy A50, Galaxy A50. They all look the same, but they're not. This one here, as you can see in the name. Oh, I can't click on that. It's a link. In the name here, Samsung Galaxy A50, A505U. So this is the US version of the phone. This one doesn't say, but if you were to dig down in deep enough, you might actually find the model number. But here's another tip here. It says global 4G LTE GSM. So that is not very conclusive. I would need to contact the seller or go to this link and find more in the about the product and see if they give me a model number. If they don't, that global gives me a reason to pause and say this might be the global version of the phone or the European version or whatever that doesn't support these US bands. So I don't think that's too risky there. If I can't find an answer on that, I wouldn't get that. See, this one here says it's the Galaxy A50 Verizon version. So this one would work in the US, but this one's not unlocked, right? This would only work on Verizon. So you do have to pay attention. If you know somebody that knows more about this stuff, you can obviously contact them, get some advice. This one actually says US version. Here it is, SMA505U, US version. So that's just kind of an example of what you need to look for. If you're buying a phone or if you already have one, go look at the model of it. Find out exactly what the, you can see the SM here is, then you've got your actual model. There's sort of the name of the phone, but this is the model number you need to look for, and the letters after it, like this. That's something you need to be aware of. Searching Amazon right now for the popular Samsung Galaxy A32 5G. And something that happened to me with the phone I'm recording on right now, about a year ago, I was using it as a Wi-Fi only device. And about a year ago, I took my SIM card out of my Google Pixel 3A, and I stuck it in that phone. And immediately, it didn't work. I didn't have data. I didn't have voice. And I got a message saying my SIM card was... Actually, no, I didn't get a message. It just stopped working. I had to get on Wi-Fi and get on Cricket's website. Oh, let's back up. First of all, it didn't work, right? So I took the SIM card out and stuck it back in the Google Pixel, and it still didn't work. Well, it turns out after getting on my account on Cricket's website that the SIM card had been suspended because it was stuck in a phone that was not approved. That phone it wasn't at the time on AT&T's whitelist. So it took a headache and half a day to get it unsuspended. So being a SIM swapper did not work in my favor. But that's an example of what can happen if you're using an unsupported phone. Alright. Searching Amazon right now for the popular Galaxy A32 5G. The top result for an unlocked unit is the W model, which will not be supported by AT&T. You have to scroll down to find the properly supported U model. Most people will just bypass all of this headache, and they have a contract with AT&T. They're in the store fairly often. They just call AT&T. If you're just on AT&T with a contract, you buy your phone, you lease your phone from them. You've bought your phone for them. It's branded AT&T on the back. They're going to take care of you. It's not something you have to be worried about. Your unsupported phone will still work with Wi-Fi data, as I'm using this phone for a webcam. And if you get 4G or 5G data now, you will still get it after the 3G shutdown. That's not entirely true. In that case, AT&T's restrictions will only affect voice calls. That's not entirely true, as we'll see in a moment. If you have an unsupported phone and call AT&T, it'll offer you some sort of free phone as a replacement. Yes, I've had family this happens to. They will get sent a free phone from AT&T, which sounds great, but it's really garbage. It freezes. It's hard to use. It's really the bottom of the barrel when it comes to a smartphone. They'll send you a replacement, or your existing phone may work just fine on T-Mobile. If that carrier's coverage works out for you, get a test drive SIM, see if it works. T-Mobile having the more open, they're doing this more open way where they don't whitelist phones and reject you if you're not on the list, so your phone may still work on T-Mobile. So there you go. It's something you need to be aware of. Like I said, if you're on a major carrier and you're just all in with them and you have a contract, you either have, if you haven't been sent a phone, that means your phone, if you've bought a phone in the last 2 years, probably 3 or 4 years, you're probably okay. But it's something to be aware of. 3G networks are getting shut down this month, 3 weeks from now, if you're on AT&T. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to you. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video, it helps out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.